Celebrity, true or false?
You can't handle the truth.
First up for you is true or false. Heat was originally something that you created in the late 70s and wound up making originally or attempting to as a television series called LA Takedown. Is that true or false?
That's false. The Heat screenplay pre-existed LA Takedown, and I extracted the LA Takedown script from Heat and thought about making a television series, but got into disagreement about casting the lead, I owned it, so I was able to retain all the rights.
And so what was the casting conundrum back in the day for television?
There was I was very, very close friends with Brandon Tartikoff, who ran NBC at the time. And there was one actor who I was interested in having play one role, and Brandon and I had a very friendly, amicable disagreement. And I decided, you know what, let's just leave it alone and not do the series.
And then so you just kept the script and is it true?
I retained the rights, and
Okay.
but the Heat script that pre-existed LA Takedown didn't have the current Heat ending, and it wasn't until I discovered that ending that I was able to say, "Oh, this whole thing clicks in, and I want to do it as a movie."
So how did you discover the Heat ending, Michael Mann?
Something analogous to hitting yourself on the head with a hammer for a long period of time, and then you finally I get it. It's just I don't. It had to do with that last image and the fact and the idea of counterpoint or like a fugue in music, where that De Niro's character, Neil McCauley, is writing out of existence into death, and is fortunate enough to be in contact with the only other person in his universe who understands him as completely, and that also at one and the same time is also the man who killed him, and that both are true and both are there at 100%. And so that then gave me the idea that I want to be, when I'm with Hannah, I want him to apprehend McCauley 100%. When I'm with McCauley, I want him to evade Hannah 100%. And then the challenge, can you make all that happen at the same time? And then take audience and move them from each character. And every time you're with that particular character, you are empathetically completely connected to that character, even though in regards to story or plot, they're totally oppositional. They have oppositional ambitions to each other. What they want in the world of the film is completely in contradiction to other characters who you're also empathetically connected to. So that structure was a very exciting challenge for me. And it came from the end image, then reverse engineered back into the rest of the screenplay via rewriting.
And so if it's not a challenge enough, you decided to shoot it at LAX at night with Planes Landing. How did you come up with that, and what were the logistical, I guess, trappings that you had to run there?
One additional trapping was there was also the week the Unabomber threatened to blow up LAX.
Come on.
No, really. And then to really put total coincidence work, the person who obviously had a role in dealing with the Unabomber and discovering his location was Lowell Bergman from The Insider.
From The Insider.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is you can't make that up.
No.
So who did you have to run that through to say, hey, I want to shoot something with planes flying overhead? And I imagine that you didn't have an unlimited time frame in which to shoot that, Michael Mann, right?
Well, we had a fantastic location manager who I still work with, who I just had a meeting with about 25 minutes ago. Janice Pauly managed to get us permission to shoot on the approach to the runways. And then when the Unabomber threatened to blow up LAX, she worked magic, and we were able to still allowed to still shoot there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Next one for you, and I guess Heat celebrity, true or false, Michael Mann. The Pacino De Niro diner scene was raw, done at De Niro's suggestion without any rehearsal before you shot it on set. Is that true or false?
That's false. when we were in pre-production and we were doing rehearsals, all of us were of a mind that no, you don't rehearse this scene. This scene, particularly artists like Al and Bob, you don't. The worst thing you could possibly do is rehearse a scene like that. Feel you nailed it in a rehearsal. You'll never get back to that when you're shooting. And so you want magic to happen when you're actually not just filming it, but when you're filming it and you work towards that groove where it's going to happen and take 5, 6, 7, or 8, something like that. You don't want it to happen on take 1 because there could be a technical flaw or something wrong with the camera. So, film is wonderful. What I love about it is that selection you win with 1 vote. If you have 1 great take, that's it. That's the gem. And it'll never quite be that way again. So you're looking for it to be so real and magical and immediate and spontaneous. And so you don't ruin it by over rehearsing a scene like that. So what we did is we discussed about the scene. We didn't actually run it. And if anybody spoke the lines, it was kind of in a robotic monotone. Nobody was putting anything into it because we all wanted to do it, that one time.
Couple more here for you, Michael Mann. True or false, to prepare for the film's
By the
bank
way,
heist?
Michael T. Williamson's Don King
Yes.
is brilliant. It's a brilliant turn in Ali.
Yes. Oh no, he's terrific. I mean, he's as terrific as they come. To prepare for the film's climactic bank heist scene, De Niro, Kilmer, and Tom Sizemore, you had him case a bank in Century City with the permission of bank security, and then made them recount from memory the layout once they left. Is that true or false?
That's true.
What did that accomplish in your mind?
Well, you can't imagine the tension that any of us would have if you're armed. They were unloaded weapons, but they had the gear that they were wearing in the actual bank robbery, which meant they had a suit over a vest and they had unloaded weapons, and they just to walk into a bank like that. The tension is extraordinary. And they were there to do a job. They were there to say where the security guards were standing, where the cameras were, how they would go in, if they had to get out, where the more than one exit or 2 or 3 exits, and basically case the bank. And like I said, we did this with the full knowledge of the bank officers, or they weren't,
Okay, and then last one for you. I'm friends with Hank Azaria. He told me this story, so I guess I know it's true. That in the scene where Pacino basically, cajoled him and told him that the jig was up for him and he's not going to start working for Hannah, that Hank had no idea that Pacino was going to talk the way that he did, and the line that he did, this famous line, and Hank's reaction of the word Jesus was legit, and that's the scene that you kept in the film. That's true.
That's true. We would do things. I mean, Al is fantastic, and he would typically, his takes that were great takes that became prints were always like 5, 6, or 7. 5, 6, or 7. He'd hit the zone, and that's where all the great takes were, 5, 6, or 7. Right. And then we maybe do another one, take 8. And then he said, let me do a wild one. And that became a shorthand for Al just basically unplug. And sometimes it would be outrageous and absolutely terrible. And sometimes it would be absolutely brilliant because he wouldn't know what was going to happen. And when we were probably 110 days into a 120 day shoot by that point. And so everybody was kind of a little bit worn out. It didn't occur to me that this was Azaria's first day on the show. I should explain to him that what we're doing. Can I do it? Well, yeah, sure, go ahead. So Hank had no idea what was coming. Either did I, either did Al. But that's what that came in.
Al didn't know that line about the great ass. He didn't know that was coming?
He didn't, not necessarily that was, some of that was scripted, but how exactly explosive it was going to become was a big surprise.